Hello and welcome back. This is the second video for the Certification Sustainability Climate Risk or SCR. The chapter 2 and 3 are taken from the study guide and learning objective. So let's continue. These two chapters are taken from the book Climate Change, What You Need to Know of Arthur J. Jerome. First full topics are taken from chapter 2, whereas last two topics are taken from chapter 6. Let's go one by one. So, according to a prominent person, climate is what do you expect and weather is what do you get. I hope you have understood it. Maybe not. So let's go in detail. Weather is set of atmospheric condition in a given place at a given time. An example of it is given here. For a particular city in which 7-day temperature is given, we can see that other atmospheric conditions such as rainfall and humidity are mentioned. What about climate then? It is statistical average of weather over a long period of time, which could be decades or century. So it is easier to predict climate, as can be seen from the figure of United States, but it is very difficult to predict weather. Next topic, global warming. So NASA had calculated temperature of Earth for the last 100 years, and they had postulated that the Earth's temperature can be drawn in a dice. So between the period of 1951 to 1980, each side of the dice would be hot, cold and average. So two sides would be hot, two would be cold and two would be average. So they had equal chances, and it used to have extreme hotness, but it was just around 0.1 to 0.2%, which was minuscule. But this has drastically changed now. Now we have 4 equal sides of hot, one side of average, and another side in which equal parts of cold as well as extreme hotness. So we can see that cold and average have reduced, whereas extreme hot has increased to 10%. Scientists have postulated that global warming is caused by human, but not all the scientists say this. What is the effect of climate change on droughts? Rainfall patterns are changing all over the world. Semi-arid regions are becoming drier, so they are getting droughts even in those regions. This theory was tested for Mediterranean region, where scientists predicted that it would dry, and we are seeing that it has dried. Now, as the rainfall decreases, drought increases, and due to this, in snowy region, we see that rather than snow, rain takes place. As rain takes place, therefore snow melts, and due to melting of snow, there is less water in reservoir. So in the summer season, there is less water for other purposes. What is the effect of climate change on wildfire? So due to global warming, droughts are increasing and global temperature is increasing. We know that as the temperature increases, snow melts, and this is taking place at a very earlier phase. Due to snow melting at an earlier phase, we are seeing warmer seasons are expanding at a long rate, and they are dry, so which is a good infestation of wildfire. Why wildfires are significant? As told in the last video, forests are carbon sink, and whenever they are burnt, carbon dioxide is produced. Now, El Nino and La Nina. So these are the two phenomena that even scientists are not able to predict how and why they happen. But due to El Nino, there is warming in various places in the world, and due to La Nina there is cooling. So for this topic, let's concentrate on that due to El Nino warming takes place, and as warming takes place, forests become more hot and dry, and the result of it is that wood fire would take place, which result in infestation. In the US there is a insect called bark beetle that is shown in the picture. This bark beetle digests wood and hence destroys forest. Climate change effect on snowstorm. We are not seeing less below freezing temperature, we are seeing them more and more. Why this is happening would be discussed after some slides. But as the winter gets more warmer and warmer, it favors snowstorm. And in hilly regions, we are seeing two different phenomena. In the start and end of the winter season, we see that the temperature is getting warmer and warmer. And as temperature is getting warmer, the water vapors that are formed does not come in the form of snow, they come to the earth in the form of rain. Whereas in mid-winter season, temperature is getting more colder, due to which water vapor that are formed are coming back to earth in the form of snow. So what is the combined effect of it? So the combined effect of it is that average snowfall is not increasing. The mid-winters are becoming more colder, whereas start and end time of the winter season is becoming warmer. What is the effect of climate change on hurricane? So for hurricane, warm water is required. Scientists have predicted that sea surface temperature should be less than 80 degrees Fahrenheit, that is around 26.5 degrees Celsius, and deep sea temperature needs to be warm. Why it is necessary? Because if the deep sea temperature is cold, then there won't be upwelling of the water, and hence that would weaken the intensity. What is the impact of climate change on hurricane? As the warming is increasing, sea level is increasing. Why? Because warming is absorbed by sea, and hence the hurricane are getting destructive. Also, as the sea temperature increases, water vapor are formed. This water vapor comes to earth in the form of rainfall, which also results in flooding. Due to deep sea temperature, hurricane can sustain for a longer period of time, and a blocking pattern that would be studied after some slides. According to various observations from various studies, scientists have said that first two observations are unequivocal, whereas the third one is extremely likely. For the fourth one, there is a speculation, so it is not a certain thing. What is the climate change effect on Arctic? Arctic did not have any weather station until 2 decades back, and for now we know that Arctic is getting warmer than the rest of the world. And one of the problem in Arctic is that the atmosphere layer is shallower there, so it can't warm the surface. And Arctic was cooling due to Earth's orbit, due to change in Earth's orbit, but due to global warming, that has not happened for many decades now. So as the Greenland temperature increases, Arctic temperature also increases, and due to this, snow in these locations melts, which means sea level increases. So the permafrost, that is ice that has been stored there for decades, that also melts, and that results in production of methane and carbon dioxide. Rossby wave. So jet stream have a maintaining shape, and they propagate east at a very low speed than that of actual wind within flow. Now within that, large meander are known as Rossby wave. Why they are significant? Because scientists have seen that they have been stalling out for a long time, and when they stall out for an extended period of time, they return with a greater amplification, which result in snowstorm in Arctic and hurricane in sea regions, in coastal regions. So why winters are still severe at various places? First is that due to warming, massive snowstorm or blizzard are taking place, due to which winters are severe there. Also, Earth has warmed 1 degree Fahrenheit since 1950. Now, for a given year, total number of days when the temperature is high to the total number of days when the temperature is low is increasing due to greenhouse gases, and scientists have observations for that. So scientists have seen that during 1960s the high by low temperature was less than 1, and right now it is greater than 2. Also, the winter perception is always relative. So to a younger generation, they have not seen any ice, so they feel that cold is relative, and therefore the baseline is shifting. The next topic is carbon capture and storage. It would be cheaper as well as simpler if carbon could be captured before combustion, but that is not the case. Carbon is captured after combustion in the form of exhaust or plume gas that takes place during the coal gasification process. This gas is also known as synthetic gas or syngas, which chemically produce hydrogen-rich gas and concentrated stream of CO2, which can be piped like in a oil gas reservoir shown in the figure. What are the issues faced in carbon capture and storage? If it is installed in new plants, the cost would double, and there is no technology for old plants. There are not so many projects in non-OECD countries except China. In carbon-intensive industry, they are not deployed, such as cement, iron, steel, and chemicals. You need to have a large-scale infrastructure to store the amount of carbon that would be emitted from coal plants, and unfortunately that is not there in the world right now. Leakage potential. So even if there is 1% leakage from this reservoir, the whole purpose of carbon capture and storage would be detrimental. So advantages of carbon capture and storage are minimal. Earthquake. As with fracking, some scientists have predicted that due to carbon capture and storage, which would be in underground facilities, there can be a chance of earthquake. Groundwater contamination could take place when that carbon gets spread into groundwater pipes. We have seen Statoil success, that is a Norwegian government company, but it is just one example. What is the policy requirement for success of CCS? There should be rising carbon dioxide prices. Government needs to subsidize them for a few years before they can take their own, and there should be private financing and investment. But we are seeing that not all the three factors are not contributing right now. So this is the topics that were covered in both these chapters. Hope you like this video. Subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon, like, share and comment, and we will meet soon.